Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, February 28th. We are coming off yet another muted day for the markets yesterday as investors continue to anticipate key inflation data due out tomorrow. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ were able to post slight gains, the S&P 500 adding 8 points or 0.17%. The NASDAQ advanced 59 points or 0.37%, and the Dow closed in the red, shedding 96 points or 0.25%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're currently showing that's down 0.32%, a little over 0.3%. Seeing a lot of weakness in tech stocks in the international markets this morning. Tomorrow's inflation report is really the key catalyst for the markets, and people are waiting for that. That's going to be a big one. We're seeing a host of Fed speak going on today, and they are pricing in a three quarter point rate cuts this year. This is what the market's pricing in, but that's on par with what the Fed speakers have been saying all year long. So that's good to be in unison. See the progress is being made on those budget talks. That's good. But, you're looking overseas at what's going on. And we're first taking a look at Europe. The DAX is up 18 points or 0.11%. We're showing the FTSE down 56 points or 0.75%. The CAC is trading slightly lower, down 11 points or 0.14%. But last night in Asia, we saw the Nikkei dropped 31 points. That's 0.08%. Not a big deal. But Hong Kong fell 253 points or 1.51%. In Hong Kong, the markets reacted to deficit data, which is almost double the initial forecast due to a drop in revenue from land sales. You look at China, Chinese markets, the Shanghai index dropped 57 points or 1.91%. The Chinese property sector is resurfacing, in an ugly manner due to a liquidation petition that was filed against that giant property developer, Country Garden. But on a good note, you got to know that Monday there's a meeting of the National People's Congress that could lead to additional policy support from authorities. So we got to keep an eye on for that. That could be positive on Monday. Keeping an eye on oil. Oil is weakening this morning. We're showing oil down about 0.75 point to 1%. WTI is at $78.18, whereas in Brent's at $83.01. API stockpile estimates came out last night. They displayed another build in inventory, which is negative for oil prices. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
And Bill, along with all of those elements, we're keeping an eye on earnings action this morning. And of course, the day's economic events, even leading up to that key inflation report tomorrow. There's a number of interesting reports today. And as you said, keeping an eye on Fed speak to get those clues on what they're going to do next. And the day's other market moving headlines. We're going to start with earnings action. Bill, what is going on there?
Let's start off with Massimo, ticker MASI, Michael Apple, Sam India. They beat by 38 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. You look at the stock, it's down 2.51%. Why? Q1 guidance was below estimates. That's all it took. We're looking at eBay, ticker EBAY. That stock is trading higher by 5.32%. They beat by 4 cents on higher revenue. Plus a buyback. Baidu, ticker BIDU, they beat by 57 cents on higher revenue. That stock's trading a little weaker this morning. Upcoming earnings that we're seeing, Snowflake, ticker SNOW, Sam Nancy Oscar William, they're coming out this afternoon. Their EPS is 17 cents. Expected move is 11.24%. CRM, Charlie Richard Mary, that's Salesforce.com. Their EPS is $2.26. Expected move is 7.86%. Then tomorrow morning, we have NetEase, ticker NTES, Nancy Tom Edward Sam. Their EPS is $1.80. Expected move is 6.51%. We also have Best Buy, ticker BBY, Boy Yellow. Their EPS is $2.51. With the expected move of 6.65% when they release tomorrow morning, Emily.
Bill, as I said, keeping an eye on all of that information and the economic events of the day. A couple of reports here, and we said it, some Fed speak. So give us a rundown of what we should be watching for when it comes to the day's economic events.
The key one this morning is the second quarter. It is the GDP report that's coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. This is the second revision of the fourth quarter GDP. And it could create some volatility, expected to come in at 3.3%. So, that's positive. Also at 8:30, we have international trading goods. At 10:30, we have the EIA oil stockpiles report. But let's talk Fed speak. We got a lot of it this morning. At noon, we're going to be hearing from Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic. 12:15 p.m. We're going to be hearing from Boston Fed Bank President Susan Collins. At 12:45 p.m. we're going to be hearing from New York Fed Bank President John Williams. So yeah, but listen, tomorrow's really about the CPI, about the PCE report. That's going to be the big one that the market really is waiting for today, Emily.
And Bill, you're going to be able to see all of this information as it comes out because you have your NewsWare. You're looking at these alerts, like your economic alerts, those earnings reports. When they hit the tape, you're the first one to see it. You're able to break down that information. And you're also breaking down other information that moves the markets or affects different companies or stocks, sectors, and segments. You're looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, a ton there this morning, catalysts, and you're looking at your stocks together, your FANG stocks, your Dow 30 stocks, really catching the trends on any given trading day. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Doing a quick data check. Dow stocks have shown 10 higher, 20 lower. FANG stocks, with the exception of Tesla, they're all trading lower by about 0.6%. Airlines are weak. Banks are weak. Drug stocks are falling. Retail stocks are mixed. Semiconductors, high tech stocks are definitely weak. We're looking at some of the news behind the headlines, like Amazon. Amazon's looking to do 1 billion in industrial innovation fund to help step up investments in its combined AI and robotics division. Apple is abandoning its electric car project. Google CEO was out there yesterday saying that they're going to be fixing their Gemini AI tool after it was a notice that was given biased results. Meta Platforms, ticker META, is looking to partner with LG, South Korean firm LG, to enhance its VR headsets. Netflix, NFLX, they're going to stop accepting subscriptions through Apple's payment system. Interesting. Tesla, Elon Musk says next gen Tesla Roadster is going to be shipping in 2025. Looking at Dow stocks, United Healthcare, ticker UNH, is facing a new probe by the Department of Justice over antitrust issues. Apple apparently met with DOJ officials recently in an effort to avoid an antitrust lawsuit. Some on Disney here, Reliance of India, they're going to be announcing a $1.5 billion infusion in India media with their merger with Disney. In terms of merger news, KKR, ticker KKR, said to be considering the sale of its stake in JB Pharma. Ginkgo Bioworks, ticker DNA, David Nancy Apple has acquired a company, Proof Diagnostics. In terms of guidance news, VIP Shop, ticker VIPS, Victor India Paul Sam, sees Q1 revenue flat to up 5%. Street estimates 4.03 billion. LG and ticker A, they see Q2 EPS coming in $1.17 to $1.20. Street estimates $1.27. It's a downtick. Bumble, BMBL, Boy Mary, Boy Larry, sees Q1 estimates 262 million to 268 million. Street estimate was 277.8 million. That's a downtick. Green Dot, ticker GDOT, Grace David, Oscar Tom, they see Q4 adjusted EPS coming in at $1.48, $1.45 to $1.59. Street estimates $1.88, big downtick. Talking shareholders meetings, Deere and Company, ticker DE, David Edward, they're having a shareholders meeting today at 11 a.m. And Apple, ticker AAPL, they're holding a shareholders meeting today at noon. Buyback news, TJX, Tom John X-Ray, they announced a $2.5 billion share buyback. Ticker APG, Apple Paul Grace, this is API Groups. Their board authorized a stock buyback of up to $1 billion worth of shares. ODP, Oscar David Paul, their board approved a new 1 billion share repurchasing authorization. Viteris, ticker VTS, Victor Tom Sam, their board approved a 1 billion share increase to its share repurchasing program. Squarespace, ticker SQSP, Sam Paul, they announced a share repurchasing program of up to 500 million. And eBay, ticker EBAY, Elvis Boy, Apple Yellow, they unveiled a 2 billion share buyback plan. In terms of catalyst calls, VLRS, Victor, Larry, Richard, Sam, Polaris, Citibank opened up a 30-day positive catalyst watch on the stock this morning, ticker VLRS. That's what I have for you in terms of news in the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
I'm going to go with NetEase, ticker NTES, Nancy, Tom, Edward, Sam. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is $1.80. Expect to move is 6.51%. Looking at yesterday's call volume, we saw 3,855 calls versus 1,441 puts. Yeah, that's 2-to-1. Call open interest 26,715 versus 20,207. Again, positive. Major brokers like the stock raising price targets. It's good to see. In terms of an entry price, I want to get in, 112 or under. I need to have a 112 figure in front of the stock price. It's currently bid 112 to 113.89. So I do think that's possible. I'm concerned about the guidance here, how they're going to guide. So I'm unlikely to hold it into earnings. I'm looking for, to get in and get out today. But that's my pick of the day. And NetEase, ticker NTES, Nancy, Tom, Edward, Sam, Emily.
We will follow NetEase along with you today. Like you say, you're going to grab that gain if you see it. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day to see if you were able to get out on a gain with that one. So stick with us. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
TRU, Tom Richard Uncle. This is TransUnion partners with Samoro by Snowflake. Stripe valuation jumps to 65 billion in employee share sale deal. It was valued at 50 billion about a year ago. Travelzoo, ticker TZOO, Tom Zebra, Oscar. Travelzoo expects continued growth in revenue in Q1. Bank of America expects strong refresh cycle for iPhone in coming years. See that Wendy's, ticker WEN, is considering a test of surge pricing next year. Tomorrow there's a conference going on. It's called the Rare Disease Day. It could be affecting some prices tomorrow morning, something to watch out for. I think it would be positive. Eli Lilly could launch obesity drug in India next year, the CEO said. EU Commission is probing Microsoft is preventing customers from relying on certain security software from its competitors. AMAT, Applied Materials, Apple Tom, the semiconductor equipment supplier, received a subpoena from the SEC requesting information related to certain Chinese customers. Macy's is going to be closing their San Francisco Union Square flagship store. That's a big store. That's all I'm saying this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on this Wednesday, let's take a look back on yesterday and the pick of the day, which was TKO Group. They did release earnings after the bell yesterday. It was the first full quarter that they incorporated their WWE earnings since the company's formation of that with their UFC conglomerate. TKO Group reported a Q4 EPS of a loss of 16 cents. The consensus here was 55 cents. They reported Q4 revenue of $614 million. The consensus there had been $625.1 million. They also offered guidance. TKO Group sees full year 2024 revenue of $2.575 billion to $2.65 billion. The consensus here had been $2.79 billion. The company is seeking to capitalize on media rights renewals, live events, sponsorship growth. And this earnings release follows a host of news last month for the company, including the appointment of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on its board of directors. They also signed a $5 billion rights deal with Netflix. They also had confirmed the exit of the longtime WWE heavyweight Vince McMahon as their CEO. So lots of news going on here. But Bill, you were looking at this one yesterday ahead of the earnings, sticking with your strategy, taking that gain when you see it. Were you able to get out with the gain? How did your call work out?
It worked out fabulously, actually. I mean, listen, I didn't hold this into earnings. If you look at the stock, it opened up at $84.46, and then it just took off, and it hit a high of $86.64. There's your 1% move. If you grab 1% moves on a daily basis, life is good. You don't have to go for the home runs. I mean, holding into earnings for the big move, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I'd rather be consistent. That's why I say, take the 1% when you see it. That's what we did yesterday with TKO Group. 84 and a half to 86 and a half. I mean, that's a 2% move. TKO worked out well yesterday. It was a winner, Emily.
Able to get a gain there. Again, taking it when you see it, those little ones day in and day out, they do add up. So we will check in with you tomorrow about today's NetEase pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk, when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Vani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.